All right, guys, welcome back. So, yeah, I've got like three projects going on at the same time. I've got this guy, which is the newer one, which I really want to get working on. I've got the magnet holders printed out with the red caps, which I think looks awesome. Um, and then I had my test stand, which I put over there. You can see the brown cylinder right there. But then I have my maglev. And one of the things that we discovered, or actually Sky Collection discovered, was that having too much magnetic flux on the rotor, because we both had 4 bar magnets in there. And so I'm replacing it with one with just 2, north, south. And it was really hard to get those in there. I had to press fit those in there. And I've got the protective sleeve on the outside, but that's not going anywhere. And I'm making the new shaft that's going to use the larger magnets that should fit perfectly in there. So let me see if I can get the shaft together. I don't know. Like I said, I got some MU metal to maybe put on the ends of this rotor housing to stop the interference. Yeah, see, look, you can see, I can feel the interference. I should have, even when it's far like that, yeah, see, look at, yeah, these magnets are really strong. So if I put this in the center, you can see how that moves. And I can actually feel it. So I think what I'm going to have to do is widen the base, which I really didn't want to do. But yeah, there's definitely some interference there. Now, like I said, I've got the MU metal. I don't know what I did with it, though. I'll have to see if I can find it and see if that'll actually help. Because if it'll help, then I'll go that route. So stay tuned. Yeah, so quick update on the MU metal. The stuff I got is way too thin. It doesn't work. I just tried it. It's way too thin. So I'm going to have to do a bigger base. This needs to be at least basically as long, probably as long as that, or even better, as long as that, which means a whole new base. Dag nabbit. But I think it'll be worth it because, yeah, the magnets, even with just the 2 bar magnets in there, really interact with this. And I can't believe I didn't think of that. I don't know why I didn't think that that would be an issue. Yeah, that was really stupid on my part. And thank God for Jorge, or Sky Collection, that he immediately caught that and said, dude, you're too close. Because I was copying what he did, but he didn't say in his video, to my defense, that he was actually using MU metal to block the magnetic attraction between the bar magnets and the ring magnets. Anyway, I mean, that's not his fault. But I'm grateful that he pointed it out to me. All right, stay tuned. I'm going to have to figure out how to make a bigger base. Ciao. All right, so I safely figured out that if I had a 24-inch piece of acrylic or wood or whatever, I can't use wood because it's too flexible. Or I could, but I'd get a really thick piece of wood. That 24 inches is good. If I put, there, let me get this out of here. If I put that like that, and then move this in there, I barely feel any resistance. So I'd have to make it a little bit more than 24. So this is 24 from the edge here to the edge here. And putting it in there still messes with it, but not much. Not by much. And actually I could move it out just a little bit, and this one's got the slide. So if I did it like that, there's no interference at all. I mean, barely. There's going to be a little tiny bit. Unfortunately, let me put this over here so it doesn't catch. Unfortunately, I don't have 24 inch. I'd rather get 48 inch so I can really, well, 24 will work. I can work with 24. Unfortunately, I don't have any. And I can take these two pieces, cut them so that they're like 26 in full length, and then patch underneath so that it won't be so flexible, but that's really not going to cut it either. And unfortunately, those things are expensive. 24 by 40 or 12 by 48 or 12 by 24 in 1/4 inch is pretty expensive, but I would need at least 3/8 or 1/2 inch. I would much rather have 1/2 inch. I could get away with 3/8 instead of 5/8. Yeah. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to bite the bullet and order a 24 by 12 or order, if I can, get one that's at least 3/8 or 1/2 inch. If not, I can get 2 sheets at 1/4 inch. They're not too expensive. And while I'm waiting for that to come in, I can work on this guy so that I'll at least have something going. All right, stay tuned. All right, so the good news is I was able to find some 1/2 inch acrylic sheet, 6 by 24 at a reasonable price, because I don't need it to be that deep. I just need it to be long. So I found that on eBay. I'm hesitant. I'm pretty lucky on eBay, but still kind of hesitant. So now I can work on this guy. So as I was thinking about this, so there's the barrel magnet in there. As I was thinking about this, I thought about completely 3D printing the thing, because that's what I'd like to do. And I was going to print out the part that's going to go in here. This is PVC pipe. It's not going to be this long. It'll probably be, maybe a few inches long. But I don't think the strength, because the way I would have to print this out, the pipe would be up like this, which means that the pull strength is not going to be sufficient. So I think I'm going to cheat and use some of this PVC pipe, which will go, I think that's about 20 millimeters in. And I have the acrylic glue, so that'll hold it really tight. What I may end up doing, though, just to make sure that the magnet doesn't come flying off, is because these magnets that I have, these bar magnets or barrel magnets, whatever you call them, they're about 1 inch by 1 inch or 3/4 by 1 inch. They have a hole in them. So what I may end up doing is pouring some resin, only about 1.5 inches, 20 millimeters deep, letting that harden. And it would be up towards this end. It would be about the thickness of this. Then I can take a long screw and screw it down in to be a flathead screw or a V head screw, so that I can still put this cap on. Damn, I dropped more shit than I know what to do with. I'll still be able to put this cap on which I really like. It's not absolutely necessary, but it makes it look cool. I'll still be able to put the cap on, and that magnet, I'm sorry, the screw will hold the magnet to uh, the rod here. I think that's what I'm going to do. So first I need to figure out how big I want this to be. Do I want it to be like way out here? Do I want it to be pretty compact? And I will use that stand to figure it out. And based on that stand, I can make it pretty big. I was going to use that stand, and I still could, but I have the acrylic bars that are coming down, so they would restrict how big I want to make this. And I don't really want to make it super big. Like, I don't want to make it that big. So probably something like that. So what I may do is measure the distance from the center rod on that stand to the edge there and go back about, a half inch. That way I can run it in either that stand or that stand, which means I can make this a maglev, or I can just make it spin on that stand like that. So I bought about 6 feet of this pipe. So I need to cut it. First thing I got to do is I got to fix my portable bandsaw. The blade came off, and I got to clean that blade off. It's been sitting around. That's a new blade, but it's kind of rusty. Fuck. Excuse me. So let me get that going and get some of these pieces cut up and figure out how thick I want, or how big I want to make it. All right, so stay tuned. So this is a really cool portable bandsaw, and I saw all the different bandsaw stands you can get, and I decided to make my own. It's really simple, and this wheel right here presses against the trigger and turns it on. And I just need to take these two pieces out, and then the whole thing comes off. These wing nuts actually hold it in. Yeah, it just presses this against there. So that's, oh, it kind of loosened up over time. Yeah, I take these out, and then the whole thing slides out. Well, I have to slide this out. But yeah, it's kind of cool, but I got to take it out in order to put the new blade on. Stay tuned. All right, so I figured out that the length of the PVC pipe, this guy here, has to be 60 millimeters. That'll give me a big enough rotor or a small enough rotor that it will fit inside my vertical housing, but it will also fit obviously it'll fit in the horizontal, but it will also obviously fit in the vertical. I think that's going to be cool. And this is kind of a play on one of my very first rotors back in the day before I had a 3D printer, where I had to do everything by hand. I had to use mostly PVC, 4-way. And the most I could do it would be a 4-pole rotor. I think it was like 10 or 15 years ago I made one. It was a really big one. And that's back when I was using dual Bedini circuits. It was cool. It was cool. And I was actually using the real Bedini coil, where I had the welding rods in the center for the iron core, and they were all, bifilar coils, trigger winding, the whole 9 yards. So yeah, let me get this guy together, or get the rest of these cut, because it takes a little bit of finagling to get it exactly 60 millimeters. And then I have to also remember that the corner in there, it's pretty much a sharp 90, but there can be some variations. So I'm using good old Dremel to clean out the holes. All right, stay tuned. All right, so I've gotten the holes all bored out, so they'll accept the 60 millimeter shaft. But I'm trying to figure out, do I go with this side for the top if I happen to do the horizontal, way. This has got that matted finish. I don't know if you guys can see that really well. Yeah, you can. So that emulates the bed that I print on. It's a nice matted finish, and I really like it. But on this particular thing, I also like the top layer here, because you can see the honeycomb effect from the 3D printer. It prints everything in triangles, whether it's, yeah, I don't know. I think I like that better. I don't know. What do you guys think? Honeycomb or matted finish? Stay tuned. All right, so I got prematurely excited. You know, that happens to us men once in a while. I thought I was going to be able to put this puppy together and actually give it a first run, but I forgot that in order to make this safer so the magnets don't come flying off, I need to put some some resin in there. And I have the resin. I have it right over there. And because these are so small, I might as well just fill it all the way up. My only fear is when the resin cures, put my dedicated banging hammer. I got another one down there that's really big. That's my wooden sledgehammer that I made. And that's just my all-purpose banger. Anyway, as I was saying, when resin cures, it has a tendency to heat up. And I'm afraid that it may warp this PVC. I don't know. I'll try it with one and see. Stay tuned. So I started to think, how am I going to plug this? Because I don't want to fill the whole thing up. I want to do it like halfway. Now I can just easily just put some tape on the bottom, or even better yet, I could, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, I can just hot glue it to a flat surface, to a piece of glass that I have, or even to this thing. Yeah, I could just hot glue it down. But it'll be hard for me to figure out exactly how much to pour. I mean, it wouldn't be that hard. But I was thinking if I print out a 3D plug that I can put in there that's half as big as this. And then I started thinking, wait a minute, if I can 3D print a plug, maybe I don't even need to do the resin, because the plug could serve as the anchor for the screw. Although I'd have to print the plug at 100%. I could also use a piece of wood. Like I've got some round stock here, but I don't know if I have one that's the right size. It'd be much easier to 3D print. I can 3D print a plug that's pressed fit, really tight. I mean, where I have to use the vise. And if I do it at 100% infill, that might work. No, I think I'm safer doing the resin, but I am going to 3D print the plug. All right, I just made up my mind. Thank you. All right, so I printed out the first plug. It's exactly 30 millimeters, because this is 60. So it's exactly halfway. It's press fit. And it's going to take a while to print out 7 more. I'm printing 1, 2, 3. I'm printing 5 at a time right now. It takes an hour. But I'm trying to think, is this enough where I could screw into this? I don't think so. So I'm going to have to wait until I get the rest of them printed out, because I'm not going to pour one at a time. I want to pour them all at the same time. And that plug is tight enough where it will stop anything from seeping. And then this will go in here. And then the end cap will go on where the resin part is. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to have to do. So I printed this at 25% infill just for a test. And it was amazing because I got the press fit size right on the first time. It used to take me 2 or 3 tries to get the tolerance of anything I wanted to do. Now I've done it so often, I literally can get it on the first shot. If I'm trying to fit something around something else, I simply add 2/10 of a millimeter. If I'm trying to reduce, I reduce 2/10 because I know my printer and I know its tolerances. Anyway, that's beside the point. Oops. So yeah, I was thinking maybe I should just print the whole thing 60 millimeters and press it in there. But I still don't think that's going to work to hold the magnet in. Yeah, but now I'm faced with another problem. Where are those really thin? Yeah, so this would be the type of screw I would use because it has a very flat top. So I would put it down through the magnet and screw it into the resin end of this. But I'm going to have to do it in such a way where I can still get this cap on because I still want to use that cap. These things came out really nice too. I got these to fit all perfectly on the first shot. All pressure fit. Of course, I'm going to use the acrylic number 16 glue. Or I'm not even sure if it's called glue. I think it's called something else. But it's a glue. I'm going to use that because that works really well with PLA. And I'm sure it'll work just as fine with this PVC pipe. I just hope that the idea of all this is pretty much the same. Yeah, it should still work because I had to press fit that in there. It'll be fine. So while I'm waiting for the other one to print out, maybe I should stir up a batch of resin and put it in there. I'd have to figure out how much to use. That's easy enough. All right, stay tuned. So it turns out this is going to take very little resin. I filled this up with water and threw it in there, and it didn't even register 5 milliliters. I mean, I dumped the water out, but yeah, it registered just under 5 milliliters, which is this first little tick right here. I hate this resin though. Instead of a 1-to-1 ratio like most good resins are, this is a 2-to-1. 2 parts A, 1 part B. So to try to mix something up just for one little pour is ridiculous, but I'm going to do it anyway because I need a test. All right, stay tuned. Yeah, so I hate wasting the resin. So I poured this one. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hot glue this one down and possibly another one, and then just pour it halfway up. It's no big deal. I can then put the plug in afterwards just to keep the balance going. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Stay tuned. All right, so that worked. And I was able to measure the inside up 30 millimeters just using a popsicle stick. I was able to fill this one up. This one, not so much. So I'll probably have to, I don't know if I'm going to have to scrap that or come back to it and see if I can't fill it up the rest of the way. I'm not going to worry about the bubbles. I'm not going to try to heat the bubbles off. But yeah, that should be it for now until I can get the other ones printed out. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. All right, so there's not much more I can do today. They all have resin in there. These have the opposite because I didn't have the plugs for it. But I'm surprised this guy that I poured earlier is already getting pretty hard. Hmm. But yeah, I think the best bet would be to continue with this manana. When the other two plugs are printed out, I can put those in there. They don't need to be stuck to the resin. It'll work just fine the way it is. All right. See you guys tomorrow. Ciao.